All right, let's talk about super healthy foods. You've seen the lists online, right? Sometimes they have 50, even 100 different things on them. And honestly, it can get a little overwhelming. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to distill this down into a simple, practical guide you can actually use. Let's dive in. But hang on. Before we even get to a list of foods, we've got to ask a more basic question. What does super healthy even mean? What actually makes a food earn that title? Because without a good definition, it's really just a buzzword.
It really just comes down to what's packed inside. A truly superfood is all about its nutrient density. It's not magic, it's just good science.
So, this is what we're looking for. These are the building blocks. We want foods that are high in macronutrients like protein, the stuff that keeps you full and helps your muscles. They've also got to be packed with essential vitamins and minerals. And then you've got antioxidants, which are like your body's little protectors against cell damage. And of course, beneficial fatty acids like omega-3s, which are awesome for fighting inflammation.
Okay, so with that definition locked in, where do we start building our healthy plate? We start with the most colorful cornerstones of any healthy diet, the plant foundation. Let's kick things off with fruits. They're naturally sweet, they're super nutritious, and they're incredibly easy to just grab and add to your day. You've got your classic apple, a perfect snack full of fiber and vitamin C. Or blueberries. These little guys are absolutely loaded with those powerful antioxidants we were just talking about. And then there's the avocado, which is kind of the cool, wonderful oddball of the fruit family. And this chart shows you exactly why it's so different. See, while most fruits get their energy from carbohydrates, avocados are just loaded with healthy fats. That's what gives them that creamy texture and makes them so satisfying. It really helps you feel fuller for longer. So the big takeaway here is that variety is awesome because not all fruits are built the same. Next up, vegetables. Calorie for calorie, these are some of the most concentrated sources of nutrients you can possibly find. Take broccoli. It's an absolute powerhouse of fiber and vitamins, and it even has a surprising amount of protein. Carrots are crunchy and packed with carotene antioxidants, and garlic, well, it has this amazing compound called allicin, which has some really impressive antioxidant and even antimicrobial effects. And to round out our plant foundation, let's talk about legumes. These are fantastic sources of plant-based protein and fiber. Lentils are a top-tier choice. Kidney beans are also great, and listen up because this is a really crucial safety tip from the source material, they contain toxins when they're raw, so they absolutely must be cooked properly before you eat them. Okay, so we've built our plant base. Now let's add on top of that. Let's talk about the foods that give us those powerful proteins and fats, the stuff that's essential for everything from repairing our muscles to keeping our brains sharp. For a lot of us, this category includes meats and fish. Lean beef, when you have it in moderation, is a fantastic source of what's called highly bioavailable iron, which is just a fancy way of saying your body can absorb and use it really, really easily. Salmon is famous for those brain-boosting omega-3 fatty acids. And of course, chicken breast is a classic for a reason. It's packed with protein but stays low in fat and calories. And hey, don't forget about nuts and seeds. They are the perfect snack, they're satisfying, and they pack a huge nutritional punch. Almonds are a go-to for vitamin E and fiber, and walnuts are another incredibly nutritious option. But then you have chia seeds. Look how tiny these things are, but they are unbelievably nutritious dense, with a massive amount of fiber and magnesium in just a single ounce. Okay, so we've covered our plants, we've covered our proteins, and we've covered our fats. Now let's talk about the finishers, the foods that really round out a healthy plate and make for a complete, balanced diet. When it comes to grains, making a smart choice can make a huge difference. Like choosing brown rice over white rice means you're getting way more fiber, vitamin B1, and magnesium, which gives you more sustained energy. Same goes for whole grains like oats. They have these powerful fibers called beta-glucans, which are amazing for things like lowering cholesterol and feeding the good bacteria in your gut. Now, for those who tolerate them, dairy products are a great source of key nutrients. Yogurt, for example, takes all the good stuff from milk and then adds friendly probiotic bacteria, which is great for your gut health. And cheese, well, it's a super concentrated source of protein, but it's one where you probably want to be mindful of the fat content. And now for a fun one you might not have been expecting, dark chocolate. Yep, it actually makes the list. It's got antioxidants that can be beneficial. But, and this is a really big but, the American Heart Association makes it clear that we should be eating this for enjoyment
in moderation, not specifically for its health benefits. So think of it as a little treat, not a health strategy. So, we've gone through all these different food groups and specific examples, but what does it all add up to? Let's zoom out from the individual foods for a second and look for the simple underlying principle here. Right. After seeing dozens of healthy options, it's so easy to wonder, okay, but what's the one golden rule? Is there one single thing that matters more than anything else? Well, it's a great question, and a 2021 study actually tried to answer it by scoring different food groups. And look what came out on top: legumes, vegetables, and fruit. It's no coincidence that all three are plant-based. This just brilliantly reinforces that idea of the plant foundation we talked about at the very beginning. So here it is. This is the ultimate takeaway. It's not about finding one single superfood. According to the dietary guidelines for Americans, the real secret is balance and variety. Building a plate with a mix of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains is so much more important than obsessing over any one ingredient. Because at the end of the day, no single food can do it all. And that brings us to the end. So I'll leave you with this final thought to take away with you. Looking at everything we talked about, what's just one food from this list that you could easily add to your plate this week? Something to think about. Thanks so much for watching.